How's it going, everyone? This is Brad Williams with Over 40 Fitness Hacks. I have my new season co-star with me, Tricia Nelson with Heal Your Hunger. How's it going, Tricia?
Awesome. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on our show.
Sure thing. Good to meet you and be a part of this.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Yep. So without giving away your whole program or anything, how do you overcome this, or what's some of the steps? I know you talked about the PEP. That's kind of a first thing, but can you take us through the process of helping someone out?
Yeah. So it's really important first that we take a look at our stress, like I've mentioned, and stress is a huge issue. And so what we do is in my program is I help people adopt a morning routine that can help them get still and quiet and centered. Because if we don't change our stress level, I mean, this is why diets don't work, is you take away all your coping tools, and, overeaters tend to be overdoers, and we pack our schedules. We're way too busy, so we have all this stress and nothing to relieve that stress with that's healthy. So we have to have those new tools that's not food, or alcohol. And so, I share with people something I call the 6 self-care success secrets, and that's meditation, prayer, reading inspirational or spiritual literature, writing, like expressive writing about your feelings, walking, and sharing, like talking, connecting. So these are the 6 self-care success secrets. And the more somebody does, the better they're going to feel and the less stressed out they'll be. And that's not to put pressure on anybody to do 6 self-care habits. But if you just pick a couple and start with just creating kind of a morning ritual of prayer, of Bible reading, of, meditation, yoga, something that's calming and grounding, that can help you get connected inside, like into your higher self, your divine spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. But we have to do that. Otherwise, we're ricocheting off of all the stress out there, and when we're stressed out, we stress eat, so we have to, really orientate ourselves to a new way of being nourished and resourcing strength, and so that's got to come from within. Otherwise, we're looking outside of us, and it's usually an unhealthy thing that we reach for. And also, I call it putting money in your spiritual bank account, because later in the day is when it gets hard for emotional eaters. At the end of the day, into the night, that's when we tend to snack, nibble, binge. Yeah. And so, but part of that's because we've built up a lot of stress through the day and we haven't done something constructive to offload that stress. And so when we start in the morning with getting connected, we can draw from those resources that we've built or invested in, made deposits into. We can withdraw, from that spiritual bank account later in the day when we've set ourselves up for success first thing in the morning. It's really important. If that means setting your alarm for 30 minutes earlier, do it. Go to bed 30 minutes, earlier, so you have the same amount of sleep, but it will pay off big time. And also, throwing off stress late in the day. Lately I've been going to a bar class late in the day, like around 5:30, and I find it so relaxing, and I just kind of throw off stress when I do it. It's like time to just sort of chill out. Somebody else tells me what to do. There's an instructor, there's some good music. And I can kind of just sort of chill out, and then my evening is much more sane and calm, and I don't feel as stressed out, so I don't end up opening the refrigerator door 5 times.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like working out after I'm done at the gym around 5:30, and just doing like a half-hour workout, and then just going home and just.
Yeah, it's really relaxing.
Tired. It feels relaxing. I barely have enough strength to even make a meal, other than circling the refrigerator. I think for me, it's more weekends because you have more time and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The point is you got to do something, we'll either do it in an unhealthy way or a healthy way.
Yeah. I've talking to other experts too, that kind of one of the things that keeps popping up is, showing gratitude for what you're doing, eating, the whole process of what you're trying to do? Is that part of your program too, or is it just called something else? Or people are throwing that word around.
Say it again. I missed it.
Oh, just gratitude. Like gratitude for eating this food, savor it, enjoy it, think about it. Don't just scarf stuff down.
Yeah. I mean, and all that is part of being mindful, mindful eating, which is a great thing, and gratitude. You can never go wrong being grateful, for anything. It's like gratitude is so important, and that's part of the whole mindset piece for sure. But I mean, for me, it was really hard when I was in kind of binge mode. I didn't slow down and be mindful of anything I ate. Like it was just going in really fast. But obviously that's a good goal to have. For sure. I think it's really, it's really not just when you're sitting down with food, it's throughout the day. And that's where slowing down comes in. We're overscheduled. Our schedules are overpacked. And honestly, as emotional eaters, we do that on purpose. I mean, we do it unconsciously, but for a reason, and we tend to be super busy because we don't want to feel. Okay. Yeah. We don't want to be with ourselves. We don't want to have that downtime where it's just us with our thoughts. That's why meditation is so hard for people. I've had people tell me, I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's kind of the point of meditation is like, and I often say to people, first of all, you're not supposed to not think when you meditate. Of course you're going to have thoughts, but if your mind is going from 50,000 miles an hour to 10,000 miles an hour, that's good. I'll take it. Yeah. So, it's really important for people to know that we overschedule because we don't want to be, but we have to learn how to be, because otherwise we're not only overscheduled, but we're overeating, and we overeat because we don't want to just be with ourselves. And so we have to train ourselves. It's like a new muscle we have to build, which is being a human being instead of a human doing. So much of us, if you dig into it, we feel like we have to prove our worth. And so we're always proving ourselves, always like striving. And it's not that it's not bad. It's not like it's a bad thing to be ambitious and have goals. I have goals, but my worth isn't dependent on achieving those goals. And I think that's a big change that has to take place, is we have to realize, hey, if we did nothing, we're worthy. Yeah, we're worthy. Okay. We're worthy of love. We're worthy of success, abundance. Not that you have to do something to be successful financially, of course, but the bottom line is we're a child of God and we're worthy, period. And I think that really can help people just realize it. I don't need to prove myself. I don't need to be busting my butt to prove myself all the time, because that's a hamster wheel that gets stressful and exhausting. And again, when we're stressed out and exhausted, we turn to food. So it's like, we have to really dig into this. It's not as simple as I like chocolate and I don't want to stop eating chocolate. If you don't want to stop eating chocolate, there's an emotional connection there. Yeah. If chocolate's hurting you, if you're one of those people that is not like me, that can eat like 1 square of chocolate a day, have at it, enjoy. But if you're like, I'm going to eat 1 square and you eat the whole bar, like I would, then it's like, we have to look a little deeper, and see what drives that compulsion for sure.
Yeah. What about taking a client through a program and, they're off on their own? What are the chances of, relapsing? I'm thinking of, alcohol addiction, and that's a real heavy one where there almost is 70% chance of relapsing. How about emotional eating? Well, similar, or is it?
Honestly, it's worse. I mean, alcohol, you can put the plug in the jug, and stay away from bars. But how do you get away from food? We have to eat. You have to eat. So I often say you have to take the tiger out of the cage 3 times a day, pet the nice kitty, and get it back inside the cage without getting your ass torn off. Yeah. That is not so easy. And yes, you have to have support. And people are really cagey about that. Because in their head, they're like, I should be able to do this on my own. It's just a donut, for God's sakes. It's a cookie. What's wrong with me? But no, it's the hardest of all addictive habits to overcome because you have to eat and everybody's pushing it. Like everybody's pushing sugar, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to say no. And if you don't have your tribe, if you don't have community, and I do all my programs in groups because of this, you know, if you don't feel like you've got other people in your corner, it's you and everybody who's eating it. You know, and so you're like, might as well, you know, so you have to have your people who are on this healing path. And honestly, studies show that weight loss results increase with group effort. You know, there's no question about it. So yeah, I would be dead in the water if I hadn't gotten, you know, community, tribe, you know, to help me get on a healing, healthier path. I mean, meditation, for instance, nobody's meditating. Everybody knows they should meditate, but most people don't. So to be around other people who are, you know, getting on top of their self-care, you know, and slowing down and this kind of thing, you have to have support, no question. And, you know, we don't think about it like hiring a trainer. We don't, you know, dog ourselves for that when we know we won't follow through if we don't have a trainer. Like we're kind of like, yeah, I can't, like, I need accountability. Like, I need accountability to do those weights and not wussy out, you know? But when it comes to food, we're like, we have all this shame and weirdness around it. We're like, oh, I got it. I'll do it myself, you know? Like, why? And no, you won't.
You won't. And that my whole job is basically, I'm not even a personal trainer. I'm an accountability coach because exactly. They're going to make every piece out of the book.
Totally.
Same, you know? Same about what you're talking about with community. So.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Tricia, how can some of my audience get a hold of you? Do you have a website, social media, I'm sure?
You bet. You can reach me through healyourhunger.com, HEAL, healyourhunger.com. I'm also on Instagram at Tricia Nelson _ at the end of Nelson. And I do lots of posting for support. But you can, through my website, you can access my book. You can access my TEDx talk that just came out. You can take that free quiz that I talked about to find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict, and where you are in between, if you're somewhere in between. So everything's there. My podcast too. I have a podcast called The Heal Your Hunger Show, where I go deep and talk about lots of this different stuff we've just brought up today.
Very cool. Well, awesome. And my audience knows I'll always put all that info in the description and the details so they can just click on the links and get to you. But
awesome.
Tricia, thanks so much for being on our show. Really appreciate it. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. And hopefully one day we'll get you back on again.
Okay. Thanks so much.
You got it.